Good morning. Good morning. Welcome, welcome, welcome to Joy Life Center Coaching and Consulting. It's me, your life coach, Andrea Jackson. We got people waiting to be admitted into the group, so hold tight. We're going to let them in. Good morning to you. Just waiting for you guys to connect to your audio. Oh, Miss Susu's connected. Good morning, Miss Susu.
Good morning. Good morning. How are
Good.
you, everyone?
Well, thank you so much. Thank you so much.
God bless you.
God bless you. God bless you. You connected. There you
Yes,
go. Good morning.
yes. And God bless you this morning. It took me a minute because the phone was acting crazy. I
You got it now, though. You got
got it.
it
I'm here
now.
now. Am I too late?
No, no, no. Actually, we're just getting started. You're the first two callers. So, no, you are perfect. You are perfect. Good
Okay.
morning. Good morning, everyone. We got a couple of people chiming on in. We're going to go ahead and get started. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. I am so grateful that you guys are here on this morning. We're going to move right on forward. We're going to be talking about truthfulness today. In order to kind of recover from any unhealthy okay, I'm getting a little distracted here. Okay, just trying to get some people on. Don't forget to put your phones on mute. I can kind of assist you in that. Don't forget to put your phones on mute when you're not speaking so that there's no interruption of background. But please, please, when you are ready to speak, go ahead, unmute your phones and share, and then mute yourselves back. So awesome, awesome, awesome. We have some new callers on this morning. That is excellent. So we just want to make that defined so that we can all flow in this group setting. So good morning again to each and every one of you. We're going to be talking about truthfulness today. We've talked a lot about different techniques that we need to do, different ways to break cycles, and different ways to continue to maintain the change. So, one of the things that we're going to be talking about today is truthfulness. Whenever we're trying to overcome unhealthy, unwanted behaviors that's been around all of our lives, sometimes we haven't acknowledged what they are, or sometimes we have acknowledged where they come from. Once we do acknowledge that, wow, I didn't even realize this was an unhealthy behavior. One of the things that we have to be mindful of is being truthful about it. And that can sometimes be hard because sometimes we're dealing with a little shame about it. I didn't know that my anger was such a problem. I didn't know that me being an enabler was a problem. I didn't know that being promiscuous was a problem. It was just maybe something that was learned. Didn't know that blowing up at people, having uncontrolled anger was a problem. But now that we're coming into an identification, we want to change those unhealthy behaviors because they're having an effect on our lives. So we're going into 2023 and into the rest of the days of our life. And we want to walk in healthy behaviors so that we can have healthier outcomes and live our best life. So before we get into that, we're going to go ahead and check in. We're going to start with Miss Susu, and then we're going to go to Miss Bianca, and then we're going to get to our new caller. So I want everyone to go ahead, give a good check-in. Please check in on how you're feeling today. What's your mental health like today? And, where you're at, and we're going to move forward. So Miss Susu, good morning. Go ahead and check in, please.
Good morning. Good morning. Checking in. Everything is well. Physically, mentally, things are well, but I'm concerned about some things, that's happening with me,
Yeah.
emotionally. But that's okay though, too. I can deal with that. Just a new change, a change in the body, change of thoughts. But
Mhm.
I can deal with that. But otherwise, I am good. I feel good. Everything about the same. I missed my exercise this morning, but I still feel good. All right. God bless
Awesome.
everyone.
God bless you, Miss Susu. Thank you so much. Good morning, Miss Bianca. Go ahead and check in.
Good morning, everyone. I am doing well. Physically, I am fine, and mentally, I am fine, and I am fine. I'm fine, no, for real. But I'm doing well today, and excited about the class on today, and just taking it one day at a time. Thank you.
Thank you, Miss Bianca. I'm glad you are fine. I see Miss Kashara's on the line. Good morning, Miss Kashara. Go ahead and check in.
Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning. How are you all? Good
Good
morning.
morning.
Good. I am well on today. I am well. God is good. As Miss Bianca said, I am so excited about the class. Um, this group is really awesome and amazing. So much insight and such a blessing um, to have you in tune with yourself, with your feelings, with your emotions, with everyday life. It is absolutely phenomenal. So I'm excited. Good morning to all.
Good morning, Miss Kashara. Thank you for that. Thank you, thank you, thank you. You guys don't forget to leave your reviews. Leave your reviews on Joy Life Center Coaching and Consulting on Facebook, and it'll automatically post on our website as well. Thank you so much. Just to let people know what we're doing here, what they can gain, what life change they can accomplish. So we have a new caller on the line this morning. Sir, go ahead and check in and just and let us know what your check in with your healthiness, your state, your mind state, how you feeling spiritually. Just check in with us this morning. Your phone is on mute. You'll have to take it off mute. Hello. Maybe I can help you, or I can ask you to unmute. Okay. Okay. Well, while you're figuring that out, we're going to go ahead and move into our topic on today. Again, our topic of truthfulness. It's so easy to say, oh, I'm very truthful. I'm truthful with myself and I'm very truthful with others. And that's good, because I know that we are having an assembly of believers on the line, and we're trying to live a standard of truthfulness and righteousness and honesty and cleanliness. And that's excellent. And some of the areas that we look at as being true, we're not necessarily being true to ourselves. So one of the things that we want to do today is just kind of look at our truthfulness, dealing with our unwanted and our unhealthy behaviors. I was listening to you guys check in, and I'm remembering on Friday, we were talking about, how sometimes we have to reposition people in our lives, because the truth of the matter is that they're toxic to us. The truth of the matter is they don't add to us, nor am I able to add to them. Sometimes we don't want to let people go because we feel that somewhere down the line, we're going to be able to make a difference in their life, or somewhere down the line, a change is going to come, or somewhere it's going to benefit yourself or the other. But sometimes we have to just be truthful with ourselves. Sometimes we're on a mission from God. Did God call me to this mission, or did I call myself to this mission? So having that internal honesty helps us to be free, helps us to be free. And I remember we were talking about some people having to be repositioned and some people having to be deleted. And a couple of you kind of struggled in even saying, verbalizing, some people need to be cut off from my life. And I share again, I had an experience where I had repositioned a person after years and years and years of, trying to be that someone in their life, that game changer, that sounding board, that teacher, but everyone can't hear from you. Everyone, we don't have everything it takes. Remember, in the word, it talks about some plant, some water, but God gives the increase. And we talked about that on Friday. But today we want to talk about truthfulness. When Miss Susu checked in today, she began to share that she has some new challenges that she's grasping in her mind. There's new health challenges in her body. And one of the things that she was saying, oh, but I got this. I can take care. I can handle this. I can handle this, and whether Miss Susu can handle it or not is to be seen. But one of the things that we have to always be is truthful with ourselves. I don't know if I can handle this. This is new for me. I believe I can handle this, because we don't want to walk in a false truth. Now, again, I'm not saying that that was an untrue or a true, but I want us to begin to take a closer look at what we say and what do we really mean when we say it. So are we saying because it's proven? Or are we saying because we hope? So how much of that is really true? So I'm going to talk today. I'm going to ask you a question, as I always do. And of course, the questions are not for right or wrong, good or bad, but the questions are to help you think and help you identify kind of where you are. So, one thing as we're moving forward and changing our behaviors, one of the things that we have to realize that we must do is be truthful with ourselves. Lots of times, like people in drug addiction, they go through counting their days of sobriety, and sometimes they have a slip up. Sometimes they messed up, or they had a little accident where they did something where they ingested the drug, whether it was by accident or whether it was a slip up or whether it was an intentional fall and I'm over it, I'm keeping moving forward. One of the things that we have to learn to do is be truthful with ourselves. What just happened? What just happened? We're so used to brushing things under the rug. Just that's okay. I'm over it. It's okay. Brush it under the rug. But one thing that we've also learned is learn from these teaching moments that are provided to us, right? Okay. So did you want to check in now?
Yes.
Go right ahead. Introduce
Yes. This.
yourself and check in.
Yes. This is Danny.
Hey,
Um,
Danny.
how are you this morning? I just want to thank God for being able to be on this morning.
Excellent.
Uh, um, 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 I don't really. I haven't been on in about 3 or 4 weeks, so I'm not really knowing where we're at right now. So
Mhm.
I just want to just listen right now, and then maybe I can have something to say later. Is that okay?
That's perfectly fine. That's
Okay.
perfectly
Yes.
fine. Thank you for being here today, Danny. Welcome.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you.
Welcome. Yes, we got started some time ago and you weren't able to chime in then, but you're here now, and that's awesome. One of the things about our group is after the 10 weeks, we restart the information all over again. We go into a second set of 10 weeks. So I just wanted to say, don't feel that you've missed nothing, because what you've missed, you're going to get it again. Just hang in there and keep calling in, okay?
Okay. Okay.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Danny. And I see Miss
Yes.
Denise just chimed in. Go ahead and check in, Miss Denise, if you can.
Okay, I will.
Okay.
Can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Having my days. The Lord is keeping me. Okay, I'll get honest with you. Tell you what I just did.
Okay.
I had went in my mom's freezer,
Mhm.
and it was a couple of things on kind of on top. It's a small deep freezer, a small one.
Mhm.
There was a couple of things on top that she had cooked.
Okay.
Already ate the sketty.
Mhm.
Delicious. there was a bowl of Great Northern beans. I ate half of it I think on yesterday, and my aunt was looking at the other half of it.
Mhm.
And I took them beans out the kitchen just now and put them in the corner of my room because this is some of the last stuff my mother cooked. Nobody else gets it but me. Oh, the devil may care, but I don't. Shame on me. But I'm just, I'm all emotionally, I'm all over the place.
I know.
But I'm pushing. What I started doing yesterday because of school issues that I was behind in all my homework, that I started trying to make headway. And when I get finished this group, I'm going to take me a pause for the cause and maybe run up to get see about some paperwork that I need in my hand.
Mhm.
But I'm gonna come back and tie myself to the computer.
Okay.
So that's the mission right now because there's not a whole lot I can do
Okay.
until I get certain information in my hand to move on to the next. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Miss Denise. And you chimed right on in perfectly what our subject matter today. Just being truthful, truthfulness, being honest with ourselves, being honest with others, but walking in truth. Like she said, I ate the spaghetti. I took the beans. I ate half of them, knowing my aunt wanted the other half. These are mine because this is the last that my mother has cooked in her time. So here it is that I'm gonna take these. So she acknowledged in truth and was truthful with herself. Didn't justify it. Didn't justify it. Just was truthful. And that's one of the things that we want to learn to be is truthful with ourselves. Not, I heard a comedian, I don't know his name, but I believe he's a Christian comedian. But I believe he was on Facebook and he was saying how when people get fired from their jobs, how they always say, oh, that was just God transitioned me to my next. That season of my life was over. God ushered me into my next. And he was like, no, that was HR that ushered you to your next. You called in late. You had several no-shows. You didn't comply with your supervisor, what you wanted to do. No, that was not God. That was not God ushering us into our next. That was us, and our lack of accountability, our lack of truthfulness to ourselves does not make us a better Christian. It does not make us a better leader. It does not make us a better individual. So we're going to talk about that today. When we're talking about our unhealthy behaviors, especially during our time of recovery, trying to recover from those things, it is absolutely certain. It is absolutely important that we find ourselves being honest. So I want to ask you, what are some areas of your life that you need to be a little bit more honest in? Please go ahead, unmute your phone and share. Please don't fear judgment on this line because we're here for change. Don't fear judgment. Please, we are here for change. So what are some of the areas of your life that maybe you haven't been so truthful in? Go ahead, unmute your phone and share.
Good morning again. This is Sue.
Good morning.
And I stand corrected. Yes, I say that I can handle. That's one of the areas on my health thing I can handle. But truthfully, you don't know because you don't know what's coming forward.
Yeah.
And as I used to say with my kids, it sounds, you know, someone said they did this or they did that. I don't say they didn't. I would say I don't believe that they did. And that's where I got to get back to. I don't believe, but I don't know if I could handle this. I stand corrected on that.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, but I do believe that I can.
Mm-hmm.
But that's it. Like I say, with my health or about me,
Mm-hmm.
that's why I probably, need some more help with it and being just truthful on that.
Mm-hmm.
How do you feel? I feel all right, but yet my back is hurting or, head is hurting or whatever like that. So to coming out, to specify what is wrong instead of just covering, making a blanket statement, everything's okay when it's not. So on that for me.
Thank you so much, Miss Susu. Thank you. Anyone else? Where in your life have you found, in what area of your life? And let me say this, dealing with your unhealthy behavior, whatever your unhealthy behavior was, I want us to first take it back there first. So maybe we can see the trail. In our unhealthy behaviors, where were some areas that we were less honest? When
Sister
you
Lupe here.
go ahead,
Oh,
Sister Lupe, good morning.
good morning. I didn't mean to interrupt you. You want to finish what you were saying?
No, please go right ahead. Jump on in.
For me, and you said while I was in my addiction, I would say I was in denial that I was not um, properly parenting my children. You know, even though I will feed them, clothe them, take them to school,
Yeah.
I was neglecting them emotionally and at times being verbally abusive. So that I didn't own up to that till later because it was normalized to me from my father that it was okay to, you know, to demand and control your kids because they belong to you.
Right.
So for many years, you know, I was that type of parent, do what I say, not what I do. So I was in denial with that on that for a long time.
Awesome. Thank you so much for that, Sister Lupe. Perfect, 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 perfect identification. See the denial where we're not operating in truth because we're operating under the power of those unhealthy behaviors, of those addictions, of those routines, of those cycles. Thank you so much. Anyone else? What have you noticed while in your unhealthy behaviors? What have you noticed where you were less honest or less truthful?
I wouldn't say less truthful, but right now I had an encounter about my version of denial.
Okay.
That I can be in certain areas when the time comes, I can go into raw, dog, crazy, and the craziest denial on the planet.
Okay.
Give an example. When my brother was ill, because of the type of person that he had been in my life, he was one of my rocks, and he was my friend. My brother, the brother who passed away, he was my friend.
Okay.
I don't have many on this planet. But when he got sick, oh, Miss Denise was in such a level of denial. It took me years to kind of realize how, just what level of denial. And then when my mom was ill, I was in a level of denial.
Okay.
In a level of denial. Now, that's the one area I could have got on the Nile River in Egypt and just floated on down the stream. And other things. Honestly, let me see. It's a lot of stuff. I really can't like right now mentally grab it all, but it's a lot of stuff. I ain't who are all what I need to be. Usually now with me, I only mess with folk on a level of do you need to know this or do you not?
Okay.
Cause people is cold blooded.
Right.
On their betrayal level, on their gossip level. See, I had a bunch of women. I grew up with a bunch of women around me that was hardcore gossipers. They didn't cover you at all. And by the time other people came around us, they looked at you like you was a three-headed dog.
Wow.
Because of that, just the and I try not to do that, but I get angry sometimes, and do better. I want to do better. I just want to do better in so many areas. But I could definitely stand wash me over again.
Yes.
In the river of honesty and veracity. Wash me over again. Yeah, that's the truth. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. That's awesome. We can always rely on you for a song. Thank you so much, Miss Denise. Absolutely. Absolutely. When we begin to examine ourselves, we can see where even in our unhealthy behaviors, we had a level of untruthfulness, especially to ourselves, because our eyes are filtered by what we believe. Our eyes are colored by our behaviors and our belief systems that are connected to our behaviors. So if I believe that I'm doing this action, then guess what? Nothing in my mind can tell me that I'm being untruthful, even when it comes to the untruthfulness that's attached to the lifestyle, that's attached to the behaviors that have brought forth the lifestyle, the deceitfulness, the lies, the cunning games, the trickery, whatever was connected to it, the I'm okay. I'm okay. The I'm just gonna fake it till I make it sort of thing. All those things were connected to our behaviors that connected and created a lifestyle for us. So whether the deceit or whatever the untruth was, our eyes became colored by it. Our perception walked in it as this is okay. Now, remember, we have people that have slogans, all men are dogs, all women are gold diggers, that they live by that perception. And these are things that we have to examine. I love how even Sister Lupe has said, even when she was in a drug addiction, in her own mind, she felt, hey, I'm the bomb mom. Even this don't hold me back. I'm the bomb mom. I take my kids and I make sure they clean. I make sure they're fed. I make sure that they go to school. They have what they need. But as we continue to grow in healthiness, we can begin to see, wow, I did those external things, but where I lacked was in my emotional connectivity with my children. Maybe where I lacked was in the areas of being there, their emotional need, their emotional development. And these things are learned as she continues, because sometimes and I love how she said that, sometimes we grow according to the wrongs of our parental generation. Our parents, they didn't know it all. They wasn't perfect on parenting, but that was the example that we had, whether they were a perfect parent or not. That's the example that we had. And dealing with that, understanding we repeat some errors. And it's not until we examine ourselves that provoke these behaviors and see, hey, I need a change. If not, what do? We continue to cycle them on throughout our lives. And then guess what? Through the next generation of our children's lives, they're being bruised and they're being neglected emotionally. They're having this example before you. It's either going to come out into the next generation directly as a result of what you've done, or indirectly as a result of how they feel. So it's beautiful. It's life-changing. It's generational changing when we can identify these behaviors, change the lifestyle, because we have to heal before we try to stop a curse in our generation, stop repetitive behaviors in our generation. We have to heal and then show forth a new example, start that new generation with the new behavior. So that's awesome. That's awesome. And I love how Ms. Denise talked about, there's a lot of things that I had to identify, even coming on the line. I identified my selfishness, and whether I feel like I want to do anything about it right now or not, about the beings, hey, this is how I'm feeling right now. And she can own up to it. Remember, we talked about being aware, accepting, and owning. We can accept a matter, but if we don't own up to it, then guess what? Miss Denise said, I'm not sharing the beans. But the fact of the matter is, we own up to it. And like she said, look, hey, that's my mother. I just went through this great impact, this great situation with my mom. And right now, this is all I have. And I am accepting that and owning it. This is what I'm going to do. Now, does she want to make a lifestyle out of that? No, but she's accepting, this is what I'm doing right now. She's being truthful with herself, just as each and every one of you have. So that's awesome. Thank you so much. Anyone else? What are some of the the areas that you needed to change in the times when you were just acting in that unhealthy behavior. I want you to understand where the untruth was, because when we identify the untruth, we can identify it now when it tries to recycle in our recovery from these unhealthy behaviors. So please go ahead, unmute your phone and share. Anyone else? Some of those untruthful, where you weren't so truthful in your behavior.
Yeah. Oh yeah. One of the things I got to deal with in the aftermath is a lot of financial issues, and what it has done for me finally, because I was at the end of my little raggedy rope anyway. I personally, without the passing of my mom, without the having to go through her affairs, without that, I was at the end of my rope. But this right here, what I'm looking at, and I ain't even got started with it yet, because I'm gonna have to wait till after this semester is over and I'm finished with all my work. But to sit down and deal with each thing one by one is this. I see the full-blown raggedy fiscal mismanagement that I myself have been guilty of. And it's just, and knowing that it's just an attempt to fix a problem. And then you can do this thing and the problem still ain't taken care of.
Right.
You could fix, like we switched addictions, and this always was her addiction, because I remember something that my stepdaddy said when I was a kid. He said something about my mama and her fiscal habits. He sure did, and I ain't never forgot it.
Okay.
And so I'm seeing the whole end result of the pile up, and it's making me look at me like, Negro, don't you do another nothing.
Okay.
Don't you do another nothing. And oh my. And it's time to break this generational curse, because see, I know something. That when there's fiscal mismanagement, it brings a curse on the bloodline's finances. It's the truth. It's the truth.
Yes.
At least I'm aware of that now, and I've, have come to the, the end of the road on that. I was at the end of the road already, but what I'm dealing with now, what I'm going to have to deal with, I have to put it to the side for about a week or so, is that I got to deal with it. I got to deal with it, because it's bad. It's real bad. It's real bad. And wow, just wow. Sometimes when you come to terms with your stuff, especially stuff you've been rolling in for a long time or barely managing in or whatever it is, it's a hard one to confront. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I definitely agree with that. But we have to actually get to a place. Remember, we talked about the stages of change. We talked about the wheel of change, being in contemplation or pre-contemplation on a matter, where I'm just kind of, I know I got this, or I think I got it, or I think this is a problem. I'm not sure, but I think I need to change it. And then getting to that point where we begin to identify, you know what? That is a problem, and I do need to do something about it. I do need to give some attention to it. So then we might move into the stage of ready for action, or you might tittle back and forth from contemplation to ready for action. But whichever one that we begin to understand that we cannot ignore ourselves, and we want to live great lives. We want to live the lives that God has called us to. We want to live the lives that we know that are our best without examining ourselves. We cannot, and we have to examine ourselves with a truthful eye. And we have to get honest with ourselves as well as with others. So whether we're in contemplation about a matter, or if we're ready for action, I'm ready to change. I'm ready to dive in. I'm ready to expose myself. I'm ready to devote my all to my change. Or maybe I'm tittling back and forth. But wherever you are, be honest. Let's be truthful about where I am. I have some behaviors, but I'm not yet ready to let them go. But I do want to be in the healing atmosphere so that I can maybe help get off the edge and walk into change. Brother Danny, did you want to say something? I see your phone.
Yes.
Go
Yes, can
ahead.
you hear me? Yes, I've been trying to talk for the past 5 minutes. It's been muted though.
Okay, so sorry.
That's okay. That's okay. I um um I was listening to Evangelist just now, and I'm dealing with a couple of things. Number one is coming from my past life of selling drugs out there in the streets. I dealt with a lot of money coming back and forth. So
Okay.
money was basically no problem for me or for my kids. Whenever something needed to be done and handled, I was able to handle it.
Mhm.
Um, Now that I'm in a place where I am now, um, um, I'm seeing that now. I'm trying to budget my money, but it's not so easy to budget my money. I'm trying to fall in line with being a regular tither and different things, and I'm having problems with that because I've been so frivolously with my money, so frivolous with my money. Okay, and not just that. Coming from the past life as an ex-gangbanger, drug dealer, whatever you want to say, I had a crowd of folks always around me. Had a crowd of folks respecting me and liking me for whatever reason was when I was out there on the streets. But now I see that the issue with my money, me dealing with my money, and as far as my past relationships, kind of been a problem. Letting some of that go. I've been having a
Hey, I
problem
love it.
go because I'm so used to having a crowd around me,
Yes.
and now I'm at the place now to where God is separating me. Um, it's kind of lonely in that place, so it's kind of hard to let some of those things go.
Mm-hmm.
Not just that, I was a very heavy weed smoker out there in the streets, very heavy weed smoker. And whenever problems came to attack me, that was my escape,
Yes.
marijuana. And I still see that I'm dealing with that, and not just that. Um, um, Associating with certain people that I've been associating. That's why I had to let my phone go dead. Associating with them certain people, I see now how doors you can mess with be in communication with other people, and how those doors can affect you. And they've been affecting me greatly, and I know why they've been affecting me is because of these doors that I've still had open dealing with certain people.
Yes. Yes.
And it can be, it has been a hindrance to my growth and to me going forward in the Lord,
Awesome.
and it's very uncomfortable.
Uh,
That's it.
Thank you so much. Oh boy, I love that, Danny. You came in hard and strong. I
Oh
love
my
it because one
God.
of the things that you came right with is identification. You came in that you were aware of what's going on with my life. Check this out. This is wonderful because lots of times you've gone through the stage of having to identify how these certain behaviors are not healthy for me. Coming from one lifestyle, what we talk about when we talk about recovery, recovery is coming from where you were in that unhealthy state into your healthier state. Now, as we're making that transition, some of the old mindset, the old friends, the old ways of feeling, the atmosphere, the climate feel, all that comes with you because it has not yet shedded itself. It has not been identified as a problem. Like you said, I'm used to having money. Quick money goes fast, and it's okay because I make quick money. But so now that I'm living a life without the activity of drug dealing, without criminality, now how do I budget? Never had to budget. How do I now trust God and give 10% right off the top and deal with the rest of this 90% of what I have? I'm now learning to budget. Or even like you said, hey, when you got a sack, everybody's your friend, especially everybody that do that. Everybody's your friend. You got the money, you got the sack. Well, now that I don't have those external factors that draw, how do I deal with rejection? How do I deal with loneliness?
Yes.
How do I deal with being alone? So all of those are wonderful identifications. And with that, like you said, I'm seeing myself connecting with people that I shouldn't, the people of my past, but I see how now it's a problem because it conflicts with the life that I want to live today, the life
Yes.
that I'm moving towards. So that is wonderful. And being truthful with yourself rather than rationalizing it, justifying it. Oh, I can still do this just a little bit, long as I don't go all the way out. Well, I ain't selling hard drugs. I'm just gonna sell these drugs. All that rationalizing keeps us in our bondage. Keeps us in our bondage. So I applaud you, Danny. Thank you so much for sharing that. And I honor your attempts of moving forward. And as you call in on this line, you'll begin to see how to address some of those feelings and some of those challenges that you're facing as a direct result of life change. So, but you're in a positive, moving forward direction. I love it. Anybody else identify with where Danny is, because that truthfulness can sometimes be challenging because I may not can feel like I can be truthful, but that truthfulness blocks me from or prevents me from moving forward. Go ahead, Miss Kashara.
Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning.
Yes, when you hear different people say things, even in your mind, you feel like you don't have anything to say. But at the same time, when you hear it, you start finding yourself in
Yes.
the story, and I'm grateful this morning for Mr. Danny and how he was very transparent,
Yes.
and given his little analogy testimony uh, about his life, but it brought me all the way back to me.
Yes.
Loneliness is a factor in my life, and I say that because I put a wall up of loneliness. I put that up after being hurt in relationship and
Yeah.
family hurt and all kind of hurt. I put the wall up. But the truth of the matter is, especially around this time of the year, I feel it more now than ever, and I find myself looking back, even if it hasn't been a comfortable situation for me, even if it hasn't been um, um, a truthful a situation for me, I find myself reverting back to it,
Oh,
just out of comfortability.
yes.
And not that it's good.
Right.
And guess what? I still find some of the same things
Yes.
that pulled me out in the first place.
Yes.
But to be honest, it's just, you get yourself in a mode where you just don't want to be alone. And it's not necessarily physical, it's not necessary, it's just the company overall, it's just the interaction overall. Every woman I know wants to be loved, wants to be appreciated, wants to be needed, and reality is, I find myself tiptoeing back to that. I don't care what you call it. It's there.
Yes.
And sometimes for a minute it works, but then it ends up back to the same old thing, which is not good.
Yes.
But I find myself always back going, saying, oh God, what do I do now?
Yeah.
How do I work this out? How do I fix this? Because reality is, only he can fix it. Only he can sever it. Familiarity is one thing. And even in the situation where we are in denial, at least I'm in denial, it's not that we're so much in denial. I'm not in denial, but it's a familiar place to be. And in that familiar place, because you're not looking for things new, and whatever God bring to you, then you have to be content with whatever God bring. But sometimes we can't wait on God. Sometimes we get in a hurry and we push ourselves out back into an uncomfortable situation because of our loneliness, because of our being segregated from everyone and everybody. And that's where I'm at. I realize being truthful about it. I just don't want that loneliness. I don't want to be lonely. And I want to wait on God. I have to wait on God, and I will wait on God. But in the process of me waiting on God, I need him to strengthen me more in those areas, even where my children are concerned. You know, we say we let go, but when we look at our children and we see the state they're in, we reach out anyway, because that's our heart. You know, no matter how we've been hurt, disrespected, lied on, slapped in the face, cursed out, whatever. Guess what? We still love that child because God gave them to us. You know, so we put ourselves back in the position, thinking in ourselves, it's going to be better this time. We can't make them better. They got to make them better. They got to change their ways. They got to change their attitude and their disposition, you know. But here we are on a limb again, about to fall off. Because why? Our heart. We put our heart on the line again. And that tells me a lot about me, and being honest. Stop saying what you're not gonna do when you're doing it because of situations and circumstances, loneliness, and because you love your children.
Yes. Oh, that's amazing. That's amazing. Thank you, Miss Kashara. Being truthful with ourselves, you know, being truthful with ourselves, even in our unhealthy behaviors, breaking the cycle. Breaking the cycle has to start with identifying, you know what? It's me. It's me. And even though I know the outcome of this situation, I keep putting myself right back in it. And I have to be truthful with myself so that I can identify, where am I in my readiness for changing this? Where am I? Am I in pre-contemplation, contemplation, or am I ready to take some steps of change? Even being ready to take some steps of change, I may titter again back and forth, but I have a mindset that I'm going back to ready for action. I'm not going to let loneliness govern my life, and I'm not going to allow the outcomes of loneliness press me into a bad decision. I'm going to be truthful about the whole matter, and I'm going to do something different. That's amazing. Thank you so much. Anyone else before we start taking a look at truthfulness and its effects with us? Anyone else?
Oh yes. Now y'all talk about loneliness. That's my specialty. I've gone through it all my entire life. When I was a kid, mama had us trapped in the house because our situation was stay in the house so I can go to work, because my mama always worked swing shifts. And so we didn't get out and make friends. The only time as kids that I remember that we got to really go outside was when one of our relatives stayed with us for a short time. That's when we could go outside. Because if you let kids out by themselves, I don't care, somebody gonna do something crazy, and I had to accept that. But the solitary lifestyle is not a lifestyle I actually like, but I can do it because I've had a nice amount of betrayals and different knives in my back, even in the household of faith. I ain't lying. I've had some stuff come at me like, oh my, like where that come from? Where they do that? Do they do that here?
Wow.
You know, I thought that was for the streets.
Yeah.
But one of the things God gave me, and I would tell anybody, find you a hobby that you can, that's not a crippler, or not nothing that's gonna take you out or take you into no foolishness, that you can do by yourself. Some people do puzzles. Some people do crossword puzzles. Some people learn how to crochet, learn how to knit, learn how to make something. Got access to a sewing machine, or start writing out their memoirs or something. My friend is my music and my cameras. That's what God gave me. He gave me cameras. When I got saved, he gave me the gift of photography. I always was a photographer, but I didn't I hadn't owned a camera in a long time, but he got me started on it. So I'll tell anybody, you find you something that you can do that brings you joy, because sometimes you love your family, but they don't always bring you joy. I'm gonna be honest with you. You love them, but like
Yes.
you be like, mercy, why did I sin that bad? This is all I get. This is all I get. Ah, arg. And then when you around the world, they have no interest in change. Okay, no interest in change, and it's like you just bow your head and shake your head and say, "Oh my."
Yeah.
And they're not always a joy. You love them, but they're not always a joy. So, but you deal with them from time to time to a certain extent. I learned that find you something that you can get into that don't nobody have to be there for you to get into it and enjoy it. I had to learn how to travel. Well, I always did know how to travel by myself. The problem with me was like, why you want to get married? We need two incomes around here.
Okay.
And I need somebody with a mind that we can talk with a mind. I don't need no dumb man. I need a man that we can talk. Yeah, we got communication and certain things in common. But anyway, I would tell anybody, you find out. Let me tell you something. A consecrated life, if you're really for real, this is a consecrated life. Hey, it's not gonna be full of buddies.
Right.
It's real talk. Because
Yes.
sometimes all the buddies get in the way, of what we need to be doing, or who we need to be hearing, and who we need to be with, spending our time with. You understand?
I do.
The consecrated life is not. You look at. I had to do a study of certain people in the Word, and I'm still going to go back over that study. But find yourself a hobby that's all right for one, and it's not harmful. It's not something that's going to get you in trouble. It's not something going to lead you astray, but you find joy in. Thank you.
Awesome. I love that. Thank you for that. Thank you for sharing that. And I love how she shared about being truthful about what's around you, what's in you, who's around you. Sometimes we try to force situations just in the name of family, like she and Kashara was saying, or we're trying to force situations to happen in the name of, I'm supposed to be there. I'm supposed to, but being a little truthful with yourself, recognizing, the truth is I can only deal with that person on certain holidays, and I have to limit myself with that person for a certain time. Being truthful with yourself, not afraid of feeling ashamed, not afraid of feeling this, that, and other, because the feelings are going to come. You're going to come. Whenever we're changing, and we're beginning to feel things that's going to come against our old belief systems, our old ways of thinking, our old cycles and routines. So you may feel some, conviction where I don't hang around with Mary no more. Well, me and Mary used to drink like a fish together. I know all her secrets. She know all of mine. But guess what? There's nothing wrong with saying, you know what? I'm going to have to leave Mary alone. I'm gonna have to leave Mary alone. Mary get drunk, she cussed me out, and I'm not about that life anymore. I'm making steps and I'm making active steps, action steps. Faith without works is dead. So I'm not just thinking in faith. I'm not just believing for my change, but I'm actually stepping into change and understanding, embracing, and being aware that that change is going to leave some people behind. It's going to change your relationship with them. One of the things that we want to talk about is during this time of change of our old behaviors, we want to realize that being honest may not seem like being the nice person. And that's what we have to kind of come to. I love how Sister Lupe kind of talked about how her children. So now a lot of her time is devoted to not only the external care of her children, but the emotional care of her children. So there may be some friends that jump in and say, hey, I thought we was going to go hang out. Hey, I thought we was going to do this. Well, once you watch the kids and put them to bed, maybe we can do this, that, and the other. And her being able to say, you know what, no, I'm going to sit and I'm going to listen to my kids tonight. You know, we're going to talk tonight. We're going to watch a movie tonight. They're going to enjoy my presence tonight. I'm going to read them a story tonight. You know, that I'm connecting with them on a different level, and I can't allow my old functioning to interfere. We be truthful with ourselves. Hey, yeah, I want to go. I want to go. I'll be there. You're going to a concert? I'd love to. But my new self is saying, okay, even though I feel that pull, and that's okay, because that's what recovery is all about. That's what change is all about. I'm walking away from one way of thinking and the behaviors that became from that way of thinking. Remember, the way of thinking some people may have is, hey, all men are dogs. And then you start male bashing men. And then someday when you come to the place where you find this man that you love and respect, whether they're a lover or whether they're a mate or whether they're a father or a father figure, now you're in dispute of yourself. Your thoughts are, and your old man versus your new man is in that argument. You want to treat him like the old man that did you wrong, but you see that this is different. But your mind is saying, child, because all men are dogs. This is just an example. So you're going to feel that warring, that argument. You're going to feel the old versus the new. And what you give time to, which side you give time to, which side you give attention to, is the side that's going to win these arguments. You calling in on the line, you're nourishing your new steps. I hear Kashara say, during this time of the year, I get lonely, but at the same time, I'm the one putting walls up. I'm the one separating. So now, being truthful with that, I have to identify, what do I want to do different this year? What do I want to do different? And even though it don't come out flowers and roses, I did something different. So let me try something else. Because that's one thing about recovery. We have to be ready for change. Now, it may not seem to some the old way, the old people that's associated to your old behaviors and the old lifestyle that it created. Many times we'll find that you may not seem like a nice person. Another thing, when we go through therapy, and we have life coaches, we have pastors, we have therapists and counselors, we have people, and we may not want to be so honest with them. You know, when they say, hey, how you doing? You know, any relapse of behavior, or, you know, how have you been dealing with your emotions? Oh, I'm fine. I'm good. I like how Miss Denise and someone else said, people are on a need to know basis. You don't have to everybody say, hey, how you doing? Oh, well, you know what? My big toenail came off, and you know what? I can't find it nowhere. I lost it in the field when I went running for corn. Or everybody don't need to know your business, of course, but there are key people in your life that when they say, hey, what's going on with you? How you doing? Are you okay? Don't prevent that change from happening by being untrue. Oh, I'm good. Everything's fine. Everything's wonderful. So how are you dealing with your awareness, of that problem you had? Oh, child, I'm over that. That's good. I've moved on. I've moved on. No, what I've done, actually, I've swept it under the rug with each and every other of my distressful situations, and it's just in there building up. That's all I'm really trying to say. So we have to really be honest with ourselves in order to be truthful with others. Sometimes we may be a little embarrassed. Sometimes it may cause a little pain. So we want to be prepared for this. It may make you feel at odds and conflicted with yourself, being truthful. But when we're moving in healthiness, the only way this thing is going to work is if we be honest. Because if we try to be honest, if we're not trying to be honest while in recovery, it is not going to work while we're recovering from these unhealthy behaviors. What are some mindsets that you need to give attention to change? What are some thoughts that you are currently dealing with that you're saying, you know what? The only way I keep acting like this, the only way these behaviors keep on, is because this is what I believe. Whether I believe I'm just going to be sick all my life. I'll tell you a quick story. I heard of a gentleman. He was a rock star. I don't know his name. I heard the story. I didn't follow him. I used to like rock when I was a little girl, but I grew out of it. But anyway, so there was this rock star, and he just filled his life with parties, drinking, drugging, this, that, and the other, because in his mind, that's what it was. Party like a rock star. Party like it's 1999. Just, have a good time. You got money, you got women, you got drugs. Party. Don't look for love because it's not coming your way. Well, guess what? One day, not only did love come his way, it didn't come by way of a woman, a wife, but it came by way of one of those women becoming pregnant with his child, and he had a daughter. And that daughter, he loved so much. That daughter showed him the unconditional love that he had never experienced. But guess what? Because of his ongoing belief system, he ruined his body. Drugs, sex, women, he ruined his body because of a mindset. So when that little girl came into his life and showed him something different, showed him a new way of living, showed him a new way of loving, it was too late for him because he had already damaged and ruined himself. So he shared maybe a year or two with his daughter, experiencing that love. But guess what? He passed on. He passed on. Either he got real sick and passed on, but he couldn't give his energy, his healthiness, his joy to that daughter and to live that life. So what is it? What mindset do I need to change before it ruins me? Go ahead, unmute your phone and share.
Sister Lupe here. I would say for me, my mindset, well, for me, it was more like a impulsiveness and outbursts. I guess the need to defend myself, or for instance, with my kids, what I struggle with is when I tell them to do something and off the bat, they give me attitude, they whine, they complain, and then I'm like, I immediately go into that mode, like, I said, do this, and sometimes throw a cuss word on there, because I just want it done right away. I don't want to, come on, baby, or what's wrong? I told her to do this SHIT right now, and so I think those wanting quick results
Okay.
by being aggressive, thinking I could get, because at one point I put engraved that in my head that when you're aggressive, things get done faster.
Right.
So that's something that I really need to change.
Thank you for that. And you pinned it. You pinned it. It may be a part of the impulsiveness, but where does that impulsiveness come from? Like you said, it comes from a mindset of, like you said, the old mindset, hey, you get aggressive, people do what you want them to do. Even though you don't live by that code anymore, sometimes those messages are still there, or even like you said, hey, you're my kids, you're supposed to respond. I don't want to hear no whining, no lip, blah, 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 blah. You're supposed to respond. Some of those mindsets, are they really supposed to respond because I'm mom, or do they whine because they're kids? Do they have an attitude because they're kids? So when we deal with the mindset, our mindset of the matter, then maybe now we could deal with the issue. Not so much how I feel about it, but this is the reality. So now what am I going to do? So now I'm going to, rather than respond in that impulsiveness, now I'm going to respond recognizing that they are children that are still needing to be groomed, learning how to respond to their mother out of respect, not out of fear or reverence or any of those things. So I love that. It's just like you said, I identify my impulsiveness and how it sometimes come out. So that's awesome. Because remember, guys, we can't change nothing if we don't identify what's there and own it. That's awesome. Thank you so much, Sister Lupe. Anyone else? What are some of the things that we've maybe been less truthful in? Some things, some mindsets, some routines, some cycles that we need to identify that needs to be broken. Go ahead, Miss Bianca.
About to play kickball with y'all real quickly. I'm go first, second, third, and then I'm going home with it.
All right, go ahead.
All right, first base. One thing I've noticed is growing up and being abandoned.
Okay.
Being abandoned as a child. So being abandoned as a child when you're supposed to be loved and, cultivated and all these different things. And so then, you grow up and you don't have that. So then, you grow up and so you get into all these other different things that you try to look for love at all the wrong places. A lot of people hear me say that, looking for love at all the wrong places because of the abandonment issues that you have. People wasn't there who said they was going to be. People wasn't there that's supposed to have been there. And so then you in these relationships because you kind of looking for that void to be fulfilled.
Absolutely.
And so what I find out is with abandonment also, because none of that took place for me to the degree that I would love for it had took place, I now would I would abandon my own self.
Ooh.
I would put up that wall. You know, don't cross this line. I don't feel like being dropped.
Mhm.
I don't feel like being crippled. I don't feel like being a loader ball. I don't feel like being none of that kind of stuff. So now, which I'm just gonna be over here in my little city here, and you be over there, and we're gonna be good. Like you was saying about when you were saying about people asking how you do. Oh, I'm good. I'm
Right.
good. I'm
Right.
good. I
Mhm.
had that real bad, real bad. And somebody had to really break me from that.
Mhm.
Oh, I'm good. What do that mean?
What does
I'll
that
be like,
mean?
oh my gosh, I'm just good. But that was for me to to be truthful and
Yeah.
to also learn how to express my
Yes.
feelings
Yeah.
also. So, kudos to that person. And so, but it irritated me. It did, and I'm sure they knew because they knew me. But so with the abandonment, and so I find out that I kind of secluded myself. That abandonment would come with loneliness and all these different things. And a lot of times I just would instead of me giving anyone the opportunity to drop me
Mhm.
or to abandon me, I just won't allow you that kind of space in my life
Okay.
because I'm protecting me.
Right.
I'm protecting me. So that was one of the things too. And then I had to learn to love myself,
Yeah.
love me, not to be that person that uh looking for love in all the wrong places, but love me. Look in the mirror and see how beautiful I am.
Yeah.
And so that was something that I had to also deal with. And so on today, I don't really deal with that abandonment stuff
Mhm.
to the degree that I used to deal with it. With
Mhm.
I I like I said some months ago, I've been in a cocoon for so many years, so many years. Whether I was in that cocoon because that's where I was supposed to be, or whether I was in that cocoon because that's where I placed myself at for so many years. But
Okay.
the butterfly is out.
Hey.
The butterfly is out, so yeah, and I like being out. I like being out. I like loving myself and knowing my worth and knowing my value and
Yeah.
knowing that I am somebody.
Yes.
I am somebody, and knowing that um I'm not letting people have that place in my life where they can drop me,
Mhm.
if
Mhm.
that makes sense.
It does.
Um, letting people be in places that they need to be in my life.
Mhm.
Maybe maybe my trust level is not all the way up where it needs to be. Maybe.
Maybe.
But at this point in my life, it is what it is for now.
Mhm.
And this is who I am right now.
I love that. Thank you. Maybe it's my trust level. Maybe it's your behaviors. Whichever it is, I'm walking in my boundaries. I love that. I'm walking in my boundaries. I'm walking in healthiness, and I'm not giving everyone so much access to the whole me. I'm not making myself vulnerable to everyone, but walking in truth. Walking in truth helps me to identify, don't prevent myself from growth, because walking in untruth is a barrier and a wall. Like I say, how you doing? Fine, thank you. Oh, I'm all good. Everything's great. That's for an example. So now that God is sending someone to tear down that wall, we're so secluded because we're used to the cycle of the untrue, not telling the truth, not being able to be vulnerable, not being able to be vulnerable when it's time and you need to be vulnerable. Not being vulnerable to everyone. We ain't being crazy now. But we are looking at things through eyes of truthfulness, not out of abandonment, not out of pain, not out of past behaviors, but out of my right now need. I'm going to be, we talked about healthy boundaries. I know how to be flexible. I know how and when to embrace. I know when to connect and disconnect. Go ahead, Miss Denise.
Yes, I could relate to something that Miss Bianca was saying about those emotional abandonment issues. Yeah, they may have fed you and clothed you, but emotionally you was abandoned.
Yeah.
I understand that. I'm clear on that. And you've been literally forced to find your way, because there was just no other way. You was forced to find your way. Now, as an older person, now this is a fallacy I have to deal with, but we can look around. I don't believe in love no more. And it's sad. I don't believe. I say, shoot, they never found me, or if it did find me, it was about 15 minutes worth. And that was about it. And I don't believe in love no more. I just don't. Just something I don't believe. It never happened in your life. It's about 15 minutes, maybe a long, long time ago. And all right, now what you gonna do? We gonna do me.
Okay.
I know part of what my role is that I'm gonna have to grab hold of by the horns in the real near future. But to be honest with you, it's a role I don't want, because these young women is hard headed. And they're hard to that I can't, and I can tell them, I can tell you, I can't promise you that this, that, and the other gonna come to pass.
Right.
I can't promise you that, and you can go out there and force it if you want to.
Yeah.
But you can go out on that journey on your own. If I do that role, that I would deal with those. I'm telling you, I got to have the ones that's willing and obedient. Not the hard to deal with, not the hard you gotta wrestle with your little bad butt. No. But I don't believe in love no more. Everybody I know, or the people that's supposed to be closest to me, they fought me like wild tigers. You know, fought me like wild tigers. And that makes me, after, scarred me up a lot. Not saying I don't forgive you. I forgive you because you are who you are. You're going to do what you do. And your father's will you will do. Your father ain't my father sometimes.
Right.
And, but it make me hold you at arm's length for years on end. And it's sad. What I believe in now, I'm having some very, very, all kinds of different type of moments right now.
Okay.
And some very, very sobering moments too. And I'm thankful for those sobering moments. But when you look back at life, especially when you're getting old, you're like, oh, what have I wasted my life on? That's real talk. Then that's something too. That's a bad habit of kicking yourself. Like, what did I waste my life on? What did I waste my life for? So, and then you sitting in your room kicking yourself. That's not good either. But it's real, but it's not good. I'm telling the truth. All right, thank you.
Thank you so much for that. Like you said, when life brings you to a certain place, you identify where you are and you make the best of that place while we're still in pursuit. I like how you say, I've identified that I don't believe in love. At the same time, I have a willingness to maybe help somebody else. Like you said, they got to be willing, they got to be ready, but there's a part of you that shows that love is still alive because you're willing to take that charge to help somebody else, to not force it. So what we do in our truthfulness is we identify the truth, and as painful as that truth is, sometimes this didn't happen for me. I wanted God to do this for me, whatever it is. I wanted God, but the truth of the matter, he didn't. And so now I have to live with that, and I have to live with that in love. I have to live with that, but that's a process. It was hard for me. As many of you know, my story, I don't have any biological children. All of my children, God either gave me through my husband's previous marriage, or he gave me by spiritual birthing. He gave me God children. He gave me wonderful children, but in other ways of other than biology. And there was a time where my mind was so fixated that I didn't necessarily embrace totally what God was doing in my life, because we still had to go through as Bianca said, the transformation of mind, the transformation of heart, the transformation of thought. And I had all these wonderful children that loved me, and I loved them, but I was so overtaken by the lack. I don't have any children of my own. Well, through time and wellness of mind, healing, acceptance, accepting that this is my truth. Some women can lay down and before they blink their eyes, they had 12 kids, and I had to go through my envy of that. I had to go through my jealousy. I had to go through I hated Mother's Day. I had to go through all of that till I got to a place where now I'm okay. So don't hate your process. Don't look at it like this is a hard place, anybody, because guess what? It may be a hard place, but it's there so you never have to return there again. Sometimes it's hard so you won't return that again, so that you can transition and transform into your next. I like how Bianca say, it took me 55 years to get right here where I am. And like the old folks used to say at the old church, and I wouldn't give nothing for my journey, because all of it was a process to who we are today, and the wellness that we're becoming into. So now, not having any biological children doesn't scar me at all. And now I can really embrace, and with all gratitude, thank God for my spiritual children, my God children, my stepchildren, my children that just come around and I don't even know where they came from, but they're mine. My grandchildren now, I have grandchildren, spiritual grandchildren, sometimes pushing for more, and I'm okay with that. I'm in love with that. And it was a woman of God that told me, she said, aren't you happy that you didn't have to physically bear all of your children? And I didn't get it. I was still in that transformation and that development and that journey to understand. I didn't get it. But once I got it years later, I was able to say, wow, I really know what she means. And yes, I am, and I embraced, I was able to embrace that. So I thank God for the journey. And as we're talking about recovery, remember, recovery is a journey. It's a journey of healing. It's a journey to know yourself. It's a journey. that journey going through the transition of who I was to who I am, you know, and people not liking me maybe, or thinking I'm being mean, or thinking, you know, whatever they're thinking. I have to come to the fullness of, I'm going to be truthful with myself, because when I'm not truthful with myself, I prevent change. I prevent it. One of the things that we want to be aware of is that being partially honest is not being truthful. Now, if that's where you are, that's where you are. That's where you are. But I just want you to know, being partially honest, sometimes we decide to let somebody believe a partial truth. Well, that's what they believe, so that's cool, you know, and we'll let that go as that. Or we tell people what we want them to hear. Rather, we tell them what we think they want to hear, because we have to determine how much of us we're going to put out there, how vulnerable I'm going to be, how much access I'm going to give that person to me. I have to be the determining factor of that. But when we operate in realms of, I'm going to tell them what I think they want to hear, that's not being truthful. And you're not helping yourself nor that other person, you know. Or sometimes we tell things that we wish were true, you know, rather than the whole thing. Sometimes I just wish that I was okay. Sometimes I wish that a person would come around more. Sometimes I wish that were true, but maybe I don't want to be vulnerable. I don't want to say that. So we have to realize what's true and what's untrue. And why am I living in that untrue? And why won't I tell the whole story to this person that's a confidant, this person that I believe can help me? I'm telling to my therapist, my life coach, my pastor. Why am I flowering or decorating it? So these are things that we have to take a look at so that we can grow beyond those horror flicks in our life. What is it that keeps us in that? I like how Miss Bianca was sharing, you know, she realized that there was a time when her abandonment was the motivating factor in her life. Well, now transitioning from being led, pushed, drawn, or guided by that abandonment, now I'm becoming aware and I'm owning the fact that I was abandoned. It does not mean I'm damaged goods. It does not mean I'm wrong. That means that this is my cross. Everyone has one. This is my cross to bear. This is the burden of life that I have to bear. Everybody ain't a perfect 10, and it's okay. No one is. So this is where my defects come. So now what is it that I need to do about it? So again, truthfulness, guys, truthfulness. We cannot change. We cannot recover. We cannot become better if we don't be truthful. If we don't be truthful, all tore up on the inside, dealing with loneliness, abandonment, dealing with the hurt from our unhealthy behaviors, but we have to be true about them. I tell you, when I take whenever me and my husband goes to the doctor, when I go for his appointment, and I always stand kind of behind him, because I always know that I'm gonna have to give the doctor some real truth. Because my husband will take the time to get dressed that morning, take a shower, put nice clothes on, get in the car, burn gas, go to the doctor's office. But when the doctor asks certain questions, you've been taking medicine? You've been taking it as prescribed? Oh, yeah. You know, are you still struggling with smoking? Oh, no, I'm good. And I'm behind him. You know, why do all of that? To go to the place of change, to be untruthful. He's better now, but that's what we're doing. When we're not being honest, we cannot change. We cannot be made better. Anyone before we close out today?
That was funny what you said
What's that?
about your husband.
Oh, it's the truth.
I really could relate to that back in the day. First of all, back in the day of making appointments and keeping them.
Okay.
Because I would make them, oh, you know, you need to go to the doctor with it. Okay, yeah, I got an appointment for such and such a day. I made the appointment. Then when it come, all right, I'm not going to that appointment. But then it came a time that I started making appointments and keeping the appointment. And now going in there, sitting there, like you said, get up, get dressed, get over there to the doctor, and then go in there and they ask questions. And I know I ain't being truthful about the answers. And I'll sit there and tell them everything but the truth.
Everything but the truth.
Sometimes my daughter would be in that room and we would leave out. She was like, so why you didn't tell them such and such? And why you didn't say such and such? And girl, be quiet. Girl, be quiet. Let me do what I'm doing right here. But anyway, but I understand that one.
So you can relate.
I can't. Yeah, but I'm better now. I'm better to the point where now the doctors want to throw me out the office.
You
Girl,
again?
get up and get out. You got too many questions now.
Oh my goodness. Oh Lord. Oh, thank you guys so much. We're going to read our final thought for the day and we're going to go ahead and close out. Thank you so much. There's a power in truthfulness. Being untrue prevents us from our process. It prevents us from our change. So today, should we intervene? The method of conducting interventions is considered as an effective way of confronting alcoholics and drug addicts. Well, interventions are done with the hope that this confrontation will raise the bottom and that the addict will face the conditions before there's a further anguish. However, effective interventions may be they're not a part of the regular status of how it should go. Our works is based on attraction, not by the admitted coercion that's part of intervention. If we take part in interventions, this separation should be clearly understood. The person who is still stuffers should know that the 12-step program depends on attraction. One of the things that we identify is that we have to be attracted to a process, whether it's the 12-step process, whether it's Joy Life Center process, we have to be attracted to a process. Christian principles, Buddhism principles, we have to realize that it's about attraction. It's important to make this point clear because the intervention may fail. Whether it does or not, the individual must not be left with the idea that intervention is a 12-step activity, because it's not. At any stage, the fellowship, it may always be available to him or her. So I'll probably see lots of people today who's in need of help in facing their addiction. I'll know that their recovery comes in God's good time. Thank you guys so very much. Remember, it's not necessarily a 12-step process, a Joy Life Center process, or any particular process, but it's a process that we commit to, and in time, God is going to bring you through. So God bless each and every one of you. Have a blessed and wonderful day. And remember, guys, live free. God bless you.